Senator Dayton.
I served in the 1970s as the Commissioner of Economic Development for Minnesota's last great jobs governor, Rudy Perpich. I also served as his Commissioner of Energy and Economic Development during the 1980s. Back during those times, Minnesota was consistently among the top 10, usually the top 5 states in the nation in employment growth. During the last decade, Minnesota has averaged in the bottom 10 states in the nation in employment growth, which is why we have over 215,000 people out of work today, and many more, probably nearly twice that number, who are underemployed or given up looking for work. So what's changed? Well, back when I was Commissioner of Economic Development, back when we had progressive taxes, they asked businesses, why do you locate and expand in Minnesota? And they would always give basically the same reasons. First, well-educated, productive, hardworking citizens. Secondly, good infrastructure. Third, good state and local government services. Fourth, good health care, good quality of life, productive people. That's what we've sacrificed over the last decade. And once again, at the expense of almost everyone else, so that the wealthiest people in the state, according to the Minnesota Department of Revenue, the wealthiest 10%, can pay only 3/4 of their proportionate share of income in state and local taxes. So the revenues are there. They're out there to do what we need to do. And let me focus first of all on education, because that's so important. Early childhood education, which we need. We're one of the few states that doesn't provide state funding for all-day kindergarten. That's one of my pledges. I pledge to increase state funding for K-12 public education every year I'm governor. No excuses, no exceptions, because creating that equality of opportunity for all of our children from all different backgrounds is essential, and we have to provide the resources to let good teachers succeed with smaller class sizes and more individual attention. And we have to tell our college students that, yes, you need the best possible college education, which you do, but we're going to help you pay for it. And to have the University of Minnesota now for the first time in our state's history depending more on student tuition than on public support is a real travesty of justice.
Thank you. Mr. Davis?
There's nobody in Minnesota and maybe elsewhere in the country that compete with my energy and ability in sales and marketing. I demonstrated that through my 1099s when I was in the business world. I sold them all, north and south and east and west. So I can sell if I have a good product. So what's the good product? Not taking one person's money and give it to somebody else. I don't want to take anybody's money. I want them to earn their own money, and if they want to give it someplace, they're free to do that. So the big issue in my campaign that I'm selling that's going to propel me into the governor's office is money. I'm the only person running for office that understands where money comes from and how it comes into circulation, and what we need to do in Minnesota specifically to change that equation. Now, this is such an important subject, and I'm so far out ahead of everybody else that they'll be doing their homework to learn about it so they could get on the bandwagon. But I call it the Davis Money Plan, how we're going to bring debt-free money into circulation to pay for some of the things they're talking about. Transportation, we can build our roads and bridges and our transportation system, state-of-the-art, with no debt, no taxes. Take the tax money that's collected for transportation, fuel, axle, registration, use that money to plug the budget hole. You can't pay debt with debt and get out of debt, and we should know that by now. There's the plan that I have. I have some in my little book outside. I have a little copy. How it works, how the state has the power over the state-chartered banks to tell them, you'll create that brand new checkbook money. That's how they do it. I'll explain that to you later, how the banks create the money in their computers and how they'll do it to do what the state tells them to do, according to the Davis Money Plan.
Thank you. Reverend Buddy? Pat.
I'd like to quote RT directly on this one, so I'm going to do that. RT, this is his commitment to you, that he will make Minnesota a job creation engine, that if he's elected, his number one job will be to grow jobs. and to create a blueprint to grow jobs and opportunity in every part of the state. Now, he has, as mayor, he has a record of doing that when it comes to creating jobs and reinvigorating the economy. He's helped to put together job placement programs and training programs that have helped nearly 10,000 Minnesotans find good paying jobs. He's had to work collaboratively with under diminishing resources to find ways to create small loans and for small businesses along the urban corridors of the city. And he knows how to bring people together to do that both in incremental ways and keeping his eye on the larger picture. Like all of you, he understands that education and healthcare and jobs and prosperity are all related, and we have to work on those things together.
Thank you. Mr. Carruthers?
In response to your question, you asked about a bold vision. I asked Susan about her bold vision. This is what she told me. To put the state back on track so it deals with its problems and issues now, rather than just kick the problems down the road, kick the problems to future generations and to future taxpayers. Wouldn't that be nice for a change? She has the political courage to do the right thing now, even if it is not politically popular. So she is calling for investments and, yes, additional resources to invest in educated and skilled workforce, early education, early childhood education and child care, improved technologies, and invest in our healthcare system so we're not asking our businesses to have to always put that into the cost of their products. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Wagenius?
Thank you. Margaret says that Minnesota's best days are yet to come. I believe that too. She can say that because she sees the interconnections in the work that we do at the legislature. And I'll just give you one example right now. We're working on the bonding bill, and that's, building capital projects. We're laser focused on creating jobs with that, including green jobs. One of the things we're working on is preparing to put up a windmill in western Minnesota at the tech school so the students there don't just practice on the ground about how to repair a windmill, but they can go up to a place I certainly would not go. We need to act on jobs and green jobs in our budgeting process, and Margaret is in the best position to do that. Minnesota's budget drives the results that you can expect from state government. There are only a handful of people in Minnesota who understand that budget. Margaret is one of them. Who understands it in its entirety, and she's ready to put us on the road to recovery.